What is up, guys? I have some huge news for you, and I have finally managed to set up lossless scaling with my Steam Deck. From now on, I will be doing videos simultaneously, testing out the native game's performance alongside FrameGen if the game supports it, and as well as lossless scaling. So I thought, since Red Dead Redemption 2 is playable without any upscaler and shit like that on the Steam Deck, but it could actually use a couple of extra frames a lot of the times when it comes to shooting or doing all these action stuff that is happening in the game. And once again we're gonna be running a frame limit of 60 hertz and also 9 watts as always. I could potentially call myself the 9-watt Steam Deck testing guy or tester, whatever. And also later on I will be testing out how the game performs if I disable my frame limit with lossless scaling, because otherwise I would not be able to achieve those frame rates that you will see with lossless scaling. So either way, let's get right into the video and see how this actually performs. So here we are in the game. By no surprise, we're not reaching 60 frames, not even 40s. We're getting close. All right, here if I turn around, I can actually achieve 40 frames. But to me, it's really not that surprising that we are not reaching 60 frames, since it's demanding. And I'm gonna show you the settings what we are running with, which is pretty interesting. So these are the settings that we are running with: native Steam Deck resolution, texture, quality, and ultra. These settings are pretty much prioritizing the visuals as well as performance, because if I actually put the texture on low, I would probably have to restart for everything to set up properly, but everything would look like a pile of dog shit and my frame rate would be not really that much better. Obviously I would have to restart it, but I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna go back to on ultra quality when it comes to the texture quality. So these are the important settings. Almost everything on low, just wanting a medium. First things first, I would like to test it without any FSR. We have TAA on high, MSA turned off because that's just kills our frames. And here I did not change anything. I really don't think we're gonna see any difference when it comes to our performance. Everything on low, almost just one stuff maybe or two on medium, and that's it. So this way we are pretty much getting a 30 FPS experience. It fluctuates here and there, it goes up. I think it might even go lower than 30, but it's mostly 30 FPS experience. It's like a console, vibes to it. The game is certainly playable like that, but if I turn on FSR, I will have better frames. Now, the one thing that is bad about FSR, if I use it simultaneously with lossless scaling, you will see a lot of artifacts going on and ghosting, and the game would look totally unplayable to me, but you will see it in the video. So I'm gonna enable right now the lossless scaling over here with 2 times FrameGen over here. These are here the settings. I'm really a new buy when it comes to the lossless scaling, but I don't know how much you can see it. Our frames instantly did go up from having 30, sometimes even 29, 28 frames to almost 60 frame rate experience. It depends where I am, but it's almost a 60 FPS experience. I just want my horse so that we can go out in the nature. I mean, we are already in the nature, so what sort of a, what am I even talking about? This also adds some artifacts and ghosting, but it's not as noticeable as if I would actually if I actually would turn on FSR. That way it's just way too much. Like, obviously I'm not sure how much it's gonna be like visible on the video, how much artifacts are going on. Since I'm like, you know, but if you're playing like this on the deck, it's noticeable, but it's not as bad. Like, it really depends if you want more frame rate or, you know, an overall like smooth experience with 30 frames. Both are playable. It just depends on, you know, what you are really looking for. And honestly, in this case, since we are not always having 60 frame rates, it's totally pointless for me to like disable my frame limit, because I will not really be pushing that much over 60. Like, we can actually see it here. If I disable my frame limit, which means I could have unlimited frame rates, which I will obviously not have, it doesn't do a damn thing. And especially in Red Dead Redemption 2, I really don't think, especially on the Steam Deck, that you would be more than 60 frame rates, like more than 60 frames, especially with lossless scaling. Now it's gonna be like the interesting part. I'm gonna change to FSR2 to be more precise. Here it is, FSR2, and we can try it first on quality, what that does. It definitely adds some artifacts. Our frame rates would be automatically more smoother. I'm not sure how much it's visible, but I can see, at least in person, reasonably more artifacts than before using FSR2. And also I'm going to show you how my game performs without lossless scaling on FSR2 on quality. Reasonably more playable. It adds like a couple of extra frames, and the game looks gorgeous like this, by the way. So now we have like turned on the lossless scaling on 2 times, and I'm having like a solid 60 frame rate experience with reasonably more ghosting or like artifacts or whatever the thing this is, which means the game is less playable for me. But I'm also like wondering, if I disable my frame limit, how high can we go? But I'm not really seeing any more extra frames besides of 60, so maybe I'm like doing something wrong, but I don't really see more frames. We can try like FSR2 now on balanced. I'm not sure how much that's gonna be of a difference when it comes to like performance and overall like the visuals. Visuals are like a bit worse from like on the comparing it to the like the quality mode, but it is playable. Now the huge part, like the visual change, is gonna be more like on the FSR performance mode, which we're gonna be trying out now immediately to see how much difference that actually does. FSR2 on performance, and there is now a lot more ghosting, artifacts, whatever the heck you want to call it, a lot more going on. Obviously the frames did not really change. Sometimes you can get like 61, but it's like mostly a solid 60. And also we could be doing that to like show you, turning it off. And this is like you know, it depends where we are. Sometimes we are getting like 35 frames like in the camp, like where we have been like before. even on this preset FSR2 on performance, we are getting 35-ish to like 40-ish frames, depends where we are like looking at. Like already I can tell, even without any lossless scaling, there's reasonably more artifacts going on over here just by using this preset, performance preset. So enabling lossless scaling over here on 2 times just increases the artifacts, which for me it is not really that playable. So in my honest opinion, so far the greatest performer has been not using FSR or any upscaler. I mean, we only have FSR over here, FSR2, but I would not use that. If you would like to use lossless scaling, leave it on native, don't use any upscaler, and just use lossless scaling with it, because lossless scaling already adds some artifacts to the game. One thing I would be like interested about is what would be happening if I try like 3 times. Somehow my frames doesn't really go up. Now the delay is significantly worse. Like, you probably can see it in the video. Like, if I do this, it doesn't happen immediately. It just keeps getting like worse. It just keeps getting worse, to be honest. But for the fun part, we are gonna be testing it. On 4 times, it's even worse than that. Like, a shit ton of artifacts is going on. Now, I don't know what this setting does. The flow scale lowers internal motion estimate result by improving. So we can do that on 100. No clue at all. No clue at all what that actually does. What I'm wondering about on 2 times, I'm honestly like not sure if I should like leave this on 80, because it was on 80 before. Huge delay over here. Huge delays like happening. Just for that reason alone, I would actually turn off any sort of upscaler. I mean, we only have FSR. Just turn it off, and you're gonna be automatically, like immediately, you're gonna see the difference. Probably also on the screen. Significantly less ghosting, almost like not ghosting, but like less delay, significantly less delay. Also a bit like less ghosting. I mean, you can probably like see on the left side over here. You can probably test it out and see it much better in person, but this is significantly more playable, to me at least. This would be a completely playable experience. One thing I'm like interested about, what sort of a difference it does if we actually do like increase it to like 3 times. We add more delay, and my frames doesn't really change that much. Significantly more delay over here on 3 times lossless scaling. 4 times it is even worse. This is crazy. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, like what is actually like happening. It's like I'm not even playing the game. It's like I have a lot of shit going on the screen. Totally unplayable. But on 2 times, that's the way to go. On 2 times, relatively great, honestly. Can't say too many bad things about it this way. This is such a great encounter. I always love to like come over here. Either way, in my honest opinion, this is totally playable. Like not using any sort of upscaler, like playing it on native with lossless scaling on 2 times, which is obviously adding some, you know, ghosting and artifacts and some delay, but it's not as bad as all the other ones that we have seen on the screen. And if you really want a lot of frames to have like 60 frames, 60 FPS experience, this is the only way I can recommend to play Red Dead Redemption 2. By the way, I will leave a link on the guy who made me able to like do this video, like on the lossless scaling installing video. It's relatively straightforward and simple to follow. So make sure to like check out that video that I will leave in the description below, and take care as always, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.